You know, in the tech world, a 6-month sales cycle can feel like an eternity. But what if you could pinpoint exactly which of your dream clients are ready to buy, like right now? In this explainer, we're going to break down how account-based marketing and something called intent data are basically giving companies a crystal ball into their sales pipeline for 2026. All right, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll really dig into why the old sales playbook is failing so badly. Then, we'll get to the good stuff, the 1-2 punch of ABM and intent data. From there, we'll look at how to get your teams on the same page, how to make your outreach feel like a welcome surprise instead of an interruption, and finally, we'll see the real-world results, a much faster path to growth. Okay, so let's start with the big problem. Why is the old way of selling tech starting to feel more like a shot in the dark than a real strategy? I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Why do tech sales cycles seem to drag on forever? The truth is, the way people buy has completely flipped. And a lot of sales teams are, frankly, playing a game that's already over. And this captures the entire shift perfectly. It used to be all about sales, driving the conversation with cold calls and emails. But now, buyers are completely in the driver's seat. They're out there researching, comparing, and learning all on their own. They're often making up their minds before a salesperson even gets a chance to say hello. And here are the major hurdles. You've got tech products that are complex and really expensive. So you're not just selling to one person, you're trying to convince a whole committee. You know, the CTO, the finance department, everyone has to sign off. And that means a ton of approvals. On top of all that, sales teams are often just flying blind, chasing accounts that aren't even in the market to buy yet. It's a huge waste of time. So, what's the fix for this mess? Well, it's a two-part strategy that is all about precision. First up, you have account-based marketing, or ABM. Seriously, forget casting a wide net and hoping for the best. This is more like spearfishing. Your marketing and sales teams actually join forces to go after a very specific list of your absolute dream clients, with campaigns that are tailored just for them. It's a huge shift from a mindset of lead quantity to one of account quality. And here's the secret ingredient: intent data. Think of this as a digital breadcrumb trail that shows you which companies are actively looking for solutions just like yours. So if a company suddenly starts researching, say, zero trust architecture or cloud migration, that's a massive green light for your sales team to get in touch. So think of it this way. ABM tells you who to target, and intent data tells you when to make your move. It's an incredibly powerful combination that takes all the guesswork out of sales. You know, one of the biggest, maybe unexpected wins of this whole approach is that it finally gets marketing and sales to speak the same language. Let's see how ABM actually brings these two teams together. It really comes down to these 3 simple steps. First, marketing and sales sit down and agree on exactly who they're targeting. Second, they use that intent data to figure out which of those targets are hot and ready to talk. And third, and this is crucial, they focus on what really matters, not just counting leads, but tracking actual revenue. And the result of all this? No more finger pointing between marketing and sales. Instead, you get shared goals, a lot less friction, and way more qualified conversations. It's simple, really. When everyone's rowing in the same direction, you get to the finish line a whole lot faster. Okay, so you found your target and you know the timing is perfect. Now what? How do you actually make contact? Let's talk about creating a multi-channel outreach that actually gets a response. This is where the magic really happens. It's like a coordinated symphony. Your emails suddenly land with pinpoint accuracy because you're talking about the exact problem they're researching. Over on LinkedIn, your ads and your reps' outreach feel like a helpful suggestion, not some random cold pitch. And then display ads keep your brand top of mind, so when they are ready to buy, you're the first company they think of. The real power is in that consistency. When a potential customer sees your brand everywhere they look, in a relevant, helpful way, your outreach feels less like an annoying interruption and more like a helping hand. That's what builds trust, and trust is what gets them to actually pick up the phone. So, what's the end result of doing all this work? Let's talk about the payoff, the real-world impact on your bottom line. The benefits here are just huge. I mean, imagine your sales team only talking to prospects who are already halfway to saying yes. Imagine slashing your sales cycle from months down to weeks. And imagine knowing with real confidence where your next big deal is coming from. That's the power we're talking about here. And let's just double down on conversion rates for a second. When you can talk to a prospect about the exact problem they're trying to solve, right now, you're not just another vendor. You become a trusted advisor. And that, right there, is how you close more deals. And that pipeline predictability, oh, that's a total game changer. No more guessing games at the end of the quarter. You'll know which accounts are getting close to buying so you can plan your growth with confidence. For any tech company that's serious about scaling, that kind of clarity is priceless. So, what's the bottom line here? Look, heading into 2026, the buyer is in charge. That's just the reality. To win, you have to play a smarter, more precise game. And that means combining ABM and intent data is no longer just a nice to have, it's an absolute competitive necessity.